Welcome to the Spot of Joe. Today I'm going to talk about how to start on your journey, how to follow your passion, even when you're too scared. I have traveled the world and talked to many people and worked with many of them as well about their passions, about their dreams. There's a lady, a wonderful woman I spoke with in Latvia. Met her at a cafe. And her dream was to bring fudge to Latvia. Now, what I mean is, in Latvia, apparently, fudge has not arrived. She noticed there weren't any local Latvian fudge companies. She'd traveled to, I honestly don't remember where, but some country nearby, it might have been Finland or Sweden, and she discovered fudge while she was there. And she was like, wait, what is this? And apparently they don't have it there, so she, along with her friend, was creating a fudge company. And she was looking to me for some ideas for the branding. I've worked with her. I've worked with a barber who has a barbershop, simple thing, needed a logo. I've worked with a guy who teaches other guys how to converse with women, how to talk to them, how to date, etc. I've worked with a woman who owns an English to Farsi, Farsi to English translation business for interpreters, etc., based out of England. I don't remember if it was London or not, but based out of England, I know. I've worked with many people with many different passions, many different ideas for their vision, many different dreams. And I have talked to many people who weren't ready as well. And for the people who weren't ready, I'm always a bit sad because I want to help them. But first of all, it needs to be a two-way street. But second of all, there's a very particular, specific problem that always comes up. It's always the same thing in everybody. And I wholeheartedly believe that at everybody's core, they're a dreamer. It's just this one thing gets in the way sometimes. And you're probably wondering what this one thing is. It's fear. Now the fear, there's one fear that comes up more often than not. Sometimes it's a different fear, and there's often nuances to it. So sometimes, for instance, let me say it this way. It always presents itself in the same way. And that way is, I'm too scared. I'm too scared to start. Now, that fear could come from a few different places. Sometimes it's, I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Sometimes it's, I'm afraid of, this is a very, 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 very common one. I'm afraid of not having enough money along the way. And a lot of times it's just, I'm afraid of change. There are so many other ways this fear can present itself, but the bottom line is fear. A lot of times, fear stops us from listening to our dream. And even sometimes it stops us from believing that we have a dream. Because we've listened to this fear long enough that the subtle call of our desire for adventure, desire for something new, we've not listened to it, and so it gets slowly quieter and quieter and quieter. And it's really sad to see this. And I know it's frustrating because I've been in a position, there are temporary times I've lost my attunement to the part of me that wants to follow my passion. There are times I have, but more often than not, because I've made it a point of my life to attune myself to it, more often than not, I usually act and do my method, use this method I'm going to tell you, before it gets to the point where I can't hear it anymore. Thankfully, because I've made it a point of my life to follow my passion and to build a life that I'm excited to live. And yeah, it's not every single day where you're tiptoeing, because not every single day everything goes amazingly well, but the thing is, You are tiptoeing to work, not tiptoeing. That's not the analogy. Tap dancing to work. You are, because it's more about the journey than the destination. And there, I'll put that in another video. There's a concept I want to share about that, deeper into how to understand and really practically apply making it a journey focus, because that's so abstract, and everyone says, oh, it's about the journey. It's not about whether you win or you lose, it's about how you play the game, which is true, but it's not really actionable advice. That'll be another video. But for this one, I'm going to focus on the theme of fear. Fear tries to stop you, but what does it want? Fear has a good goal in mind. It's your friend. What fear is trying to do, when we were evolved, fear helped us understand, don't go into the brush because there might be a tiger in there. It might kill us. Don't jump off of that cliff because you're going to fall and die. Because everyone who jumped off that cliff who didn't have the fear died. They weren't able to procreate. And the only people who were the people who had a hesitation when they saw the cliff, had a hesitation, and therefore lived long enough to procreate. That's just Darwin. Evolution. If you are a creationist, get off of this site because you won't like it. I like to be scientific about things. Even though this is an emotional experience, it's good to reference science. So, when it comes to having fear is there to protect us. That's what happens when you go into a street here, you see a car coming out of the corner of your eye, you step back. That's fear protecting you. The only issue is that our emotions have the same blueprint in our brain. The same part of our brain processes them as physical pain. Well, this was fine when we were hunter-gatherers because the dangers in our world were the same ones we evolved with. But any of you watching this is part of society, otherwise you wouldn't have access to this video. And you're not in a hunter-gatherer culture, or, well, I guess cell phones are, smartphones are ubiquitous now, so maybe you are in hunter-gatherer culture, in which case this will probably still apply to you because technology has changed all of our world to a large extent. But when it comes to our fear and what our fears are about, our deeper emotions, the one that has evolved with us, usually when we are scared, when we were evolving, it was a life or death situation. Now it's not so much a life or death situation. There's a delay, there's a buffer. You know, maybe you'll be broke, which would be the equivalent of not having food. And in the wild, you might die. But in modern day, you can go to a food bank, you could ask your friends for money. There's a lot of, it's more like the same thing but with a delay. We are like the hunter-gatherer cultures with a buffer so that not everything is as life-threatening as it would be, but we still imagine it is. So this fear, when we have a passion project, like the fudge company or the barber shop or the translation company or any of the people I've worked with, or the guy that helps guys talk to women, and we have a passion project that we're looking to start, a dream, if you will. Well, not even if you will, a dream. When we have a dream, we're looking to change what we have now in order to get something better. But that change brings up a lot of fear. Now, the fear could be of anything. It could explain itself in any way, many, many, many ways, as I explained before. What will people think of me? But it's all about change and uncertainty. The fear is the fear of not being able to predict or control what will happen when we make a big change. And so I have a cure for this. The first part's understanding it, which is what I just did. I just helped explain and hopefully helped you understand. The second part is, now that you understand and are empowered to have a handle on your fear, the second part is understanding and having compassion for yourself that you don't need to go from 0 to 100. There are a lot of forces in the self-help world that will tell you need to. There are a lot of people who that works best for. But if going from 0 to 100 works best for you, you wouldn't be looking for advice on this video. You wouldn't be watching this video because you would have already launched into your passion project. You're not looking for help if you are naturally somebody who goes from 0 to 100. In the last video, I showed how big I got in the worst time in my life. This time in my life, I was large. I'm only 5'7", and right now I'm 156, sorry, around 156 pounds, depending on how much I eat, water I drink, etc. 156 pounds, lean. I have a little bit of a fat pad on my stomach. I don't have a six-pack, but I'm very fit and very active and very capable and very strong. But I was 215 pounds at one point, and you can look at the last video for my story. Actually, it's not even the whole story, but it's a big part of it, and it's an important aspect of how I got to be who I am today. I was fat, and I had a lot of moodiness. And I didn't know how to get out of it, but I knew a big part of it needed to be physical exercise. So, but I also knew it needed to be something that was consistent, something that integrated into my life perfectly, not something I would do once or twice or 3 times. I had to do it every day until I got better, and then I had to keep doing it. I had to integrate it into my life. So I didn't say, you're going to run a mile today. I didn't push myself. I did what was exactly what I could do without really pushing myself, which was, okay, when I wake up, I'm going to go outside and lock the door. And then I'm standing outside with a locked door. I could open the door and go back in and sleep, and that's what I did every single day for a week. I just got up out of bed, put my feet on the ground, went outside, locked the door. And then I went back in and went to sleep for however long I wanted to sleep. Well, I had school then, so not too long. A week later, I went outside and locked the door and walked down the block. Now that walk down the block, you can watch the video for more on this. Walk down the block turned into longer walks, turned into longer runs, and I'm doing my first marathon this year. I did my first half last year with my friend, who I run with every single week. Have for 2 years. And I ran today, actually. You can't really tell my hair is not wet since I shaved it off. I like this look. Probably keeping it for a while. But I just took a run today before I did this. And then I showered and I came down here and did this. And the key to this is that it's important to be gradual. Now, what does that story about me gradually integrating physical activity into my life to change it have to do with your fear of embarking on something new and integrating that into your life because it's your dream? Well, for me, it was hesitation, not really fear, but just inertia, because I hadn't been working out. So it was inertia. But fear is a lot like inertia. It's just emotionally charged. It's conditioned hesitation, if you will. It's your own subjective emotional interpretation of a conditioned hesitation. And there's a sense of danger attached to it. But that's all it is. And what I would suggest is, if thinking about your long-term vision scares you, don't stop trying to think about it and to imagine it, because visualization is important. But what I would suggest to you is, what's the next step? The next step for you, the small thing you could do right now. Now, ideally, it's something you could do every day. Like for me, at first it was, okay, I don't really want to run or even walk at all, but I will get out and go stand in front of my house, because that's something I can do. That's within my ability right now. It's the edge of my ability. Years ago, when I was large, when I was Fat Joe. What's the edge of your ability? If it's barbershop, maybe it's just look at a picture of a happy barber every morning for a week. And then after that, it's look at a picture of a happy barber and write down one potential name for your barbershop, or look at one potential, if you haven't even become a barber yet, look at one potential place you could rent a seat. or read one article from a barber, or like look at one vlog from a barber who has a vlog every day. And it could be super simple and super small and not even scary. Like that, I imagine if your dream is to become a barber, that wouldn't scare you at all. It'd probably be like, oh, I could do that right now. And that's the point, because we have to be compassionate with ourselves, especially if it's our dream and we're focusing on the lifestyle. We're not focusing on immediately getting there. We're trying to take ourselves from where we are to there, but integrate it into our lives to where it's a part of our lives and we're enjoying it. We're tap dancing to life every single day. All right, that is frustrating, very frustrating. Let me turn this. I think I turned a little bit when I... Okay. So, I did it so perfectly. It's frustrating. So do the thing, find the lowest hanging fruit that you can do today and every single day and consistently. Something that is fun for you, something that is enjoyable for you, because the whole idea of having a dream and following it is to improve your life, to have a life that you love. So you can have a life that you love. If it's a barbershop, look at a barbershop vlog. Actually, that's a perfect one. If you're super scared to start, every single day, watch a little bit of a vlog of somebody who's done something similar or the same thing. And then brainstorm one more name for your fudge shop or your barbershop or whatever, coffee roastery, your YouTube channel. Brainstorm one name every single day. Something small, something simple, something fun, something exciting, and grow it and grow it and grow it, because if it's going to be integrated into your life, it needs to be integrated into your life. It can't be an afterthought. It can't be a chore. Life is not supposed to be a chore. Some chores need to be done before your life is a dance. Before your life is an adventure, sometimes you need to do things you don't want to do in order to get on the path. But before that, but besides that, you need to integrate it into your life in a way that's sustainable and enjoyable and exciting. So I hope this helps you. You've got your homework, and if you want to check out more, go to thespotofjoe.com. Happy to help, happy to share, and cheers.